Craig's thought of the day. Let's talk Tottenham. The Tottenham Hotspur Stadium is something that Daniel Levy didn't mind having a sponsorship deal for because of the name Tottenham Hotspur Stadium and getting it known worldwide. But we know that the deal for the naming of the stadium is going to be happening at some point in the future, and probably over the next season or so, I'd imagine. So what I want to ask is, does that name matter to you and whoever comes in? Because it does to me, actually. White Hart Lane, obviously synonymous with the club. Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, we now generally call it that. Some people still call it White Hart Lane, and that's absolutely fine. But I think we need to get this name right, and the profile of the company, and actually the name of it has got to be right. Now, there's some horrendous names out there, and a lot of these I'm going to read to you are in America, admittedly, but you've got the Smoothie King Centre. That's New Orleans Pelicans. These aren't all soccer teams, football teams, if you like. You've got the KFC Yum Centre. That's the Louisville Cardinals. You've got Guaranteed Rate Field, the Chicago White Sox, past and present, some of these. Tony Macaroni Arena, Livingston FC in Scotland. Pizza Hut Park, FC Dallas, that's in the MLS. And Dick's Sporting Goods Park, Colorado Rapids. Jobbing.com Arena, Arizona Coyotes. Planet Pure Stadium. You get, look, Wankdorf Stadium. You get my thoughts on this, right? I think it's got to be right. So I suppose my question for the day is, if you could pick a company to sponsor the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, or if you could come up with a name for the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, what would it be? I've seen a few people think big companies like Google, like the Google Arena or something like that's pretty cool. The one that did tickle me, somebody said, again, synonymous with Google, is Chrome, the browser. The Chrome Dome. Not sure about that. But look, the X Arena, if Elon Musk fancies getting into football, the X Arena, I think that sounds pretty cool. That's why people use X in things like TV shows. It sounds a bit more edgy. That's why they called the X-Files. The X-Files are not the U-Files, I think it was originally called. For the unknown files, they changed it to X because it sounded more edgy. And I think that's why Elon Musk called X, even though people think it's stupid, and I still call it Twitter anyway. Anyway, look, I'm rambling, but I think it's got to be right. But if you could pick a company to take over the sponsorship and the naming rights of the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, who would you choose and what would you call it?